Welcome back, everybody. We're here at day one of PAX East 2016, and what you guys just saw was Below, and who would have known? We're showing the game, and we have the people who made the game here.
Wow!
You're blown away too, right?
It's amazing. What a concept.
What's up? What's going on, guys?
You know, we're in full PAX mode, so we're both warm and cold and sweating at the same time.
What is that about?
I don't know
we have
what
the
it is.
flu. What the hell?
It's like there's AC on, but there's also like 1,000 million people.
1,000 million people.
And so you're like,
at the same time.
I'm cold now, but I'm also sweating. And anyway, that's like just
and so tell us a little bit about Below, and that's why I wanted you up here, man, because you're so good at the Souls things. And I wanted you to kind of get a little bit of a vibe from Below.
Absolutely. I am known as probably the best Souls player on Twitch.
Or is it I be low?
I don't know.
It's because it looks like an I, and I says be low. Be low.
That's what's called now. I'll have to talk with the logo designer.
That's a hip-hop term now. Tell me about your game.
Well, Below is something we like to call a micro Souls game.
Yeah, micro Souls. There you go.
So it's kind of Souls-ish. Actually, no, it's more of a roguelike, but it does have some of the traditional roguelike elements like permadeath, procedurally generated levels, but it also has kind of like a larger adventure game sort of world to explore. So it's sort of a combination of random areas that kind of bleed into little kind of like handcrafted narrative areas where you kind of learn a little bit about the story, a little bit of the history of the world. And that's the whole thing. The game is about this tiny little character that we call the Wanderer, which is different every time you play because, like I said, it's permanent death. So, the game's all about exploring this mysterious island. The entire game world takes place in the subterranean sort of layers of this world. And so as you play the game, you kind of get deeper and further into the world and learn kind of what the island is about, what's the island's significance, and what it is that you're doing there. Why are you drawn to this place, and why do you keep going down in there? And like it's a whole kind of exploration heavy, very sort of hardcore kind of mechanics. There's a little bit of a survival aspect to it. Very skill-based combat, not stat-based. Not like there's not a lot of grinding or anything like that. It's really just a game where you're going to be able to get through it if you become skilled at the combat and kind of knowledgeable in the game world.
I want to say immediately, I love the art style.
Thank you.
Very striking.
Thanks. Yeah, we've been working on this. One of the things that's been taking us quite a long time. We started off the game, with the idea of making a very kind of smaller scaled game world with like a very kind of tiny aesthetic. And it's proved to be quite challenging. Once you sort of put the camera back a little bit, there's a lot of design decisions that need to go into it to make sure that everything still reads and is clean and clear. So, yeah, it's something that I'm actually quite proud of, especially now.
Well, you should, man. We haven't even got into it, really. It takes a long time to get Below, doesn't it?
It
takes a couple of minutes to get there.
It's a slow burn.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. But I have a question. What size television would you recommend for somebody? A 65-inch? What? A 75-inch?
Well,
4K
you know what?
TV?
It actually works pretty well on both spectrums. Like,
what?
I tested at home on my laptop, and I love the way it looks on the laptop screen. But I also had the pleasure of playing the game at the Alamo Theater at the GDC, at the Draft House, and it looked incredible. So both scales work. You can, if it's right in front of you on a little laptop, perfect. If it's on a big-ass TV, great.
Big-ass TV, but you just said a movie theater.
Yeah, I just mean like
a massive scale,
I just mean I've seen it in both cases.
Okay.
I've seen the tiny version and the biggest version.
If you look over your head, dude, it looks pretty fire. I mean, look at that.
Oh man,
that was pretty
intense. That's the recommended TV size.
That's the recommended TV size. So a 95-inch or 115-inch
yeah,
TV. Okay.
No, but it holds up pretty well on both sides. So I tested at home in my living room, just like on a couch, on like a standard kind of 50-inch TV-ish. But then I do play it in bed on a laptop, and it looks nice.
Let me ask you, you just get dropped into the game, right? There's no explanation. It's kind of like self-explanatory on what to do next.
Yeah, so the game is a very kind of solitary and quiet journey. There's no dialogue, there's no kind of cutscenes, there's no exposition. It really just sort of drops you in, and we're really fascinated with the idea of making a game that is really about players kind of figuring the whole thing out by themselves. I think there's something that was really sort of beautiful about older games that didn't have as much hand-holding as I guess more modern games might have. So we're kind of going back to that a little bit because there's something really that's the kind of thing I really love about video games, you know, like entering into a game and not knowing anything and kind of poking and prodding like original Zelda.
Yes.
Fez.
It's such a dying like approach to games too, because it's like now like before people even play the game, it's like they've got the guidebook and like all the info's all out on the walkthroughs on the internet.
Exactly.
It's like, especially streaming games on Twitch, it's like people just constantly want to tell you what to do, and you're just like, no, like I want. I love being confused. I like that moment of like discovery.
Exactly, and then
realization.
on the flip side of it too, what I hope is that because the game doesn't really give you a lot of information, I actually hope that it helps the community come together to sort of solve the whole thing. You know, there's something really nice about that. Like in current sort of in the current environment of games, I really love seeing when communities kind of form around a game to figure it out. And I think a game like, for example, Dark Souls and Demon Souls did that super well, where it really took like it was a game where I was suddenly talking with my friends about where they found stuff and all this kind of stuff. The kind of stuff that you used to do in a schoolyard. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
yeah.
I love that, and I think that's something that kind of died off for a little bit, and it seems like it's coming back.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to bring that with
that idea of like rumors and like I heard that you can go into the secret cave and like if you duck down twice like you get a secret item or something like
you
that.
Get that rumors out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
wow, it's so beautiful to look at. So I think I saw this like 2 years ago at Gamescom, a very long time ago. It's not the same looking game.
No, I mean, since then we've worked a lot on the game visuals. Colin, do you want to chat about that? I could take over for you if you want to.
Yeah. So yeah, we started with something that was very much a 2D game because our early concept art was 2D painterly style backgrounds with these small 3D elements, mainly the characters and the enemies, and with a procedurally generated game.
Oh my goodness!
The flexibility that was afforded to us by moving to mostly 3D, it was just astounding. Like we're able to create levels and create geometry.
Okay.
And you see this foliage that's there. It's all because we're able to generate stuff in a 3D world. Actually, one of the biggest reasons is light. Light and dark is a very important aspect of this game.
Yeah.
It's used for exploration, but it also, if you don't have light, you're at a significant disadvantage because enemies will just pop out from other places, traps, things like that. And when we started adding 3D elements, we got better lighting, better shadows, and it was something that really helped develop the look of the game to what it is now.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, take over.
Yep.
I got you stuck in a cave. You'll have to get out.
There you go. Have fun with that.
But I found you a bottle, so that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was actually a big part of it. As we were developing the game, we started working on the lighting aspect of it. And part of the game design is that you have this sort of little magical lantern. And the lantern is a unique quest item. There's only one in the whole game. So if you die, you drop it where your corpse is. So you have to go back to get it. And once we started playing with that and sort of using that as the main, like basically the lantern's kind of like our ocarina of time. Like a lot of the main quest progress is linked to this one specific item. I'm kind of spoiling stuff right now, but not really. You get the lantern.
That's not really. That's very vague.
It's very
Not really. I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. But anyway, so the lantern's super cool, and once we started working on that, it became very clear that we had to level up our lighting tech in order to really kind of capture that feeling of being in a nice, beautiful, dark world with where you're a tiny little pinprick of light traveling through it. And light becomes much more important too as you get deeper into the world, where the world gets darker and colder. So all these sort of elements come into play.
I feel this game, man.
I am so glad that you turned me on to it. Like,
dude, this is hot.
I am blown away by I love the focus effect, like seeing the lights in the background like that. Like, it's just awesome. Yeah, tilt shift, exactly.
Yeah,
like photography.
Yeah, so that was something that was there right from the beginning. Once we decided to go small scale, we decided that the tilt shift aspect could help kind of accentuate that kind of miniaturization effect that happens with that camera effect. So it kind of makes the game feel even tinier in a way, a little bit more precious. It also helps a little bit with focus too. I mean, like literally you are able to just kind of look at where you are and sort of, you're constantly being guided by and kind of blocked off by the fog of war and the tilt shift. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it also, I like how by making the character so small, like it seems to make the world, that much bigger. It's that much more of an expanse on the screen. Like you can see that much further into the.
So you guys are doing the reverse
Definitely.
thing. Everything used to be scaled before with like the giant boss battles.
Yeah.
So you guys are now everything. How small can we make
It's
it?
like micro games.
Yeah,
You guys
exactly.
are changing up the whole game.
Yeah, there are some cool games out there that are kind of following in the smaller aesthetic. I after working on Below, I'm personally like just super hyped about this kind of stuff. So I love it. I really hope we get a chance to keep working and stuff because there's so much learning that
Can you
came
make
from.
it smaller? Can you go how
Yes.
small can you make this game?
Yes. The game does zoom out sometimes more so.
Right.
It also kind of zooms in a tiny little bit sometimes, but we do keep it pretty small.
Well,
so
I
cool.
think we could go smaller.
We
gotta go smaller.
This is actually what Colin's doing right now. This is a new aspect that we're showing at PAX this time around. So this area is called the Pocket, and it's basically a little HQ, like you have a little hideout. Anytime you go to sleep by a fire in the world, you wake up in this little magical space, and this is a place where you can kind of like leave things
Yeah.
for other lives. So you can sort of, it's like a little, you got a little storage unit and stuff like that. So as far as the main game quest progress goes, this is a very important part of it. It's where you kind of like can return to pick up on where you were.
Your stock and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. And you can also stock up for doing like a really difficult run, take a bunch of lives to sort of like get yourself ready, then fill your backpack with all this good shit, and then go
That's
down.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Chris, where can we keep up with all of the info on Below?
On Below, the website is whatliesbelow.com, and also the Cappy Games Tumblr or official website.
Cool.
We're also at Cappy Games on Twitter, so that's where all of our stuff goes. Yeah.
You see, man, I had to show you this.
I'm so glad you brought me on for this segment because I am absolutely like when you were talking about like you were worried that you were spoiling like the lantern aspect. Like you're a gamer after my own heart because it's like
I'm feeding into that, man. That's super cool.
Yeah,
We're-
man.
That was awesome.
One of the things I'm most excited about is that we actually haven't talked about or shown any of the really kind of major things in the game. We've really sort of shown just sort of the top layer of this layer cake of a video game that we're making. So when we actually launch, there's going to be a lot of stuff that no one's ever seen and never really heard about. There's an entire side of the game that I'm super excited about that you'll get to see at some point.
Okay, hey, man. Spoken like a champ.
Yeah.
You said that really well. No spoilers there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I will absolutely be playing this on my stream. I'm going to call it right now. I would love to. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Look, I told
Give
you like it.
Thank you.
All right.
That would be
We'll be
amazing.
back here with more live coverage at PAX East.